deck list is in front of us, and wouldn't you know, we got an Annie.
We got an Annie. We were talking about red and purples. Well, baby, we've got a red and purple girl, okay? So we're seeing that Nox is hopeful. 3 here, but you know, the talk of the town, that flash card.
Yeah, shout out to all the local game stores that received reprint stock and have been divvying those out to gamers around. Also, shout out to whoever chefed this list. This is very interesting to me. The Rek'Sai. Red Rek'Sai has been sneaking into other decks that are not Rek'Sai, specifically because it, or at least the way that I've seen it mostly played in things like Draven, is that it allows any unit that enters play from outside, not your hand, so like from the top of your deck, from your champion zone, it can have Accelerate. So that makes sense to me in like a Draven list. Interesting that Annie's running it, because I don't really think of like Annie Stubborn as being something that's really that useful accelerated. Yeah, I can get out and get a point, but like I guess the idea for this is more things like Ferris Forerunner, creating the 2 tokens, or like Rengar reaction speed playing from, I guess that still plays from hand, so. Interesting tech card. I'm curious how they're going to try and play it. Shout out Dana Fischer, the chef of this deck. I'm seeing the name in the top right, because this is a very cool kind of like lower to the ground Annie list. A lot of two energy units, 2 might units, and then just these cheaper spells, which is fairly typical for Annie.
Yeah, it looks like it's not going to be too cost heavy on some of these things, except for, as we were just talking about, the, and I always mess up this name, Ferris.
Forerunner. I can't roll my R's. I just tried.
Ferris.
There we go. That was
but yeah, so we're going to be seeing this card here. So we were talking earlier, essentially a 12 might unit.
It's just like crazy, the math on this card, yeah.
Yeah, you have the 6 might on the board, and then when you kill it, 6 might comes back into the board.
And Annie, as red purple, also gets to play the Rebuke. So we're talking about that like dichotomy of the meta at the top, most represented cards. Annie is one of the decks that can play both.
Absolutely. I love to see it. Now, I do have a question here. Can you rebuke a mech token?
Yes.
And then you just play it with a...
Smokes.
Oh.
It never existed. It's just gone.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a sad thing to see. Well, I doubt we'll be seeing any of that there.
Snapped.
Yeah, Thanos snapped.
It's like the art in Rebuke. It's like actually sucked out, you know. All right, we're moving on to the next deck list here. It's Irelia.
Our first Irelia game. I love to see it. Now, Irelia is the queen of not only gear, but just making her Irelia Fevrant unit super duper big. Want to protect her at all costs. She is the queen. So we've got some ganking boots of swiftness. We got the GAs, of course. We've got the Zanyas. And I always love to see the one and only Stella.
Yep, Stella Corn is the bread and butter of this deck. Some people will say Irelia Fervent is the best card in this deck. Nah. It's Stella Corn Herder, okay?
She's the real queen.
This is the real unit that you have to watch out for. You snipe this with everything. I will blow 5 runes to deal with this card early on in the Irelia matchup, because it just gets so out of control if the Stella Corn Herder gets you multiple draws. If this thing survives 2 turns, you're just completely swamped in card advantage. Your Irelia will have so many cards. Now, the danger of Irelia, and I'm noticing that this deck list does not have the Treasure Hunter. A lot of Irelias are opting not for Treasure Hunter. It gets swept by Bellows Breath. It's just really small in general, so like it just gets sniped by a lot of stuff, and it's a little slower. I still like it because it helps you not de-ramp, but other Irelia players are saying, no, you just kind of accept that you're going to go down to a low rune count at some point in the game and just play with lower resources. And you just have a big enough Irelia by that point that it doesn't matter. That is the test of Irelia players, is how do they manage their rune resources, because it's very easy in this deck. The Legend Blade Dancer, you have to recycle a rune in order to ready the unit that you targeted, and if you're doing that multiple times, you're recycling multiple times, you're also hiding your Zonias, you're playing your Charms, you're playing like your Defiant Dances, a lot of things that will recycle, and then you can just run out of gas.
And another thing that I kind of just want to point out is this Tide Turner here. It is a very interesting unit because when you play it, you can choose to you choose a friendly unit and then you can move it to its location. So if you're Irelia, if your Stella is in trouble, you've got this low cost, low might unit that you can kind of just sacrifice to make sure that you keep your good units on the board.
Yeah, I love using this proactively. You like send your Stella Corn in, get the draw, play the Tide Turner, swap spots, and the Celicorn moved again, so you get another draw. No longer at a battlefield, so it's a little safer. Yeah, Tide Turner is a classic. What my build of the Irelia deck actually looks very different from this one. I have 3 Tide Turner.
Oh, wow.
I like this card that much. I think it's it doesn't feel that bad just playing it first. Like, you'd rather a GA or probably the Treasure Hunter in my build, but like still just getting a unit out's fine. But I love 2 energy cost units that are good at any point in the game. You don't mind seeing this turn 1 because it's just a guy. It just goes in and scores a point. But you also don't mind seeing this turn 5 or turn 10, you know?
Yes.
Like, the later the game goes, it still has uses, which I think is like the mark of the really, really top tier 2 energy units especially. And I think it's no surprise that Tide Turner was also in the top 16 most represented cards at the event.
100%. And another thing is you can hide that card.
Yeah.
So if you really want to do like a little gotcha, you can do that with Tide Turner. So very scary game or scary card there. But I also want to point out the amount of GAs that Irelia can have in her deck. You may have something to deal with one, but she's got so many that
2 in that deck list with the 2 Zonias. But
yes.
if you remember, I mean, you were also breaking this down in the previous Draven match, and he's got a lot of stuff that bounces. So, like, the rebukes say, I don't care about your Guardian Angel. I don't care about your Zonias. Like, it's going back to hand. So
exactly.
It can be an interesting matchup.
You don't even have to, salvage it. You can just get it out of there, get the whole entire unit. And then you have to pay to get that Irelia back on the board by exhausting your runes.
Does have to flex. You also have to pay to bounce it back. And for a couple of reasons, I slightly favor the Irelia in this matchup. I don't know what the numbers are. Actually, I'd love it if we could take a look at that. I have it from Lille, so once we get into the game, I'll look it up here to see what the win rate was between these decks. Because my head says it should be slightly Irelia favored. The Annie ways to deal with like what Irelia is doing, a lot of it's like targeting, and so you're paying that deflect cost. And also Irelia with things like the discipline, with the on guard, with Defiant Dance. You can get over the Ferris Forerunners. You can get over a lot of the stuff that Annie's playing out there. The question is, can Annie play fast enough? Because a lot of times, especially with these types of Irelia builds, when you're not on the Treasure Hunters and you're not on as many low-cost units, you kind of seed the early game and you say, maybe I'll score like a point or 2 in the first like 4 or 5 turns, but you're just really scaling for that Irelia to then play around with that. And if Annie with like the Kaisas and the Noxus Hopefuls and like all these earlier game units, the Merchants, which were in there as well, maybe the Annie just gets to the point where you have so much on the field, already so many points by that turn 5 when Irelia is like, I guess more like turn 4 when Irelia is coming out. That's a question. And I'm hearing Irelia had a 59% win rate. Thank you, production, for letting me know there, so I didn't have to look it up. That is a pretty significant win rate when you look at like how many people are playing these decks at these events. So yeah, 59%. I feel like that tracks with my expectation.
Absolutely, 59%. And we know that Irelia is just such a popular champion and legend here. But yeah, no surprise to us, honestly.
A lot of times in these types of matchups, like, it can be pretty close if you both play the same speed. So it's up to one deck to speed it up. Like, if you have a losing matchup as the Annie, like, sometimes the only way to really win that, and I experience this a lot as a Jinx player, so that's where a lot of this is coming from. You just got to play fast. You just got to get in there and score as much as you can. Pressure your opponent, because maybe they just make a mistake or they mismanage their resources, especially easy to do as the Irelia.
Absolutely, and since we're speeding up games, let's go ahead and speed up into this game. And I do want to just shout out this Annie. She is also cosplaying as Annie.
Is awesome.
But a cute little fact here is she is actually 15 years old, y'all. So we've got a young girly pop here in Atlanta, Georgia, putting it down, holding it down, not only for the girlies, but for the youngies as well.
A new generation of gamers coming in here to play Riftbound. Awesome to see. And in cosplay, too. Like, this has got to be one of the coolest moments. You're cosplaying the champion that you're playing, and you get to be on feature match. Happy that we get to see a cosplayer. There's a lot of cosplayers here playing
There
also.
are.
There's
yes.
a lot.
We've seen some sets, and they look amazing. So shout out to all of the cosplayers. As we get started here, we're looking at our cards, seeing what we want to mulligan. And it looks like we're the Irelia is going to mulligan too.
Irelia deck has the Irelia sleeves. Look at that. It's a match.
Very, yeah, like the overnumbered legend, the alt art for the
but Dana Fischer has the purple and red, so it kind of, that's also thematic. I like
you know
that.
What? I love this.
Do you do that? Do you color code your sleeves with your decks?
No, I just use whatever Riot gives me, not going to lie. So I just rock with that.
Okay, must be nice. All right, looks like Johannesfuest is...
You
I'm
got
not
it.
confident on that one.
You got it.
I said it, and then right after, I was like, I don't know if that's how you say it. I'm just going to go Johannes. Johannes going first here has the 2 runes for the Guardian Angel. Pretty good Irelia start. I'd say this is even ideal. Like, you're really happy to just get your GA out early, and then probably like a Stellacorn turn 2 if you're feeling confident, and put the GA on it.
Absolutely, and we're going to go ahead and exhaust our runes to play out a Rek'Sai right here early, and we're going to go ahead and channel 2 on the side of Johan, and we're going to draw 1. Looks like we're looking to do a Desert's Call.
Okay, is that what we're seeing there? Yeah, Desert's Call. There we go. Spells down. That will give us 2 Sand Soldier tokens. Very efficient turn 2 as well. Now, this is where we see, does Dana want to go for the... Well, no, you won't go for the Annie here, because you're not going to get any value out of the spell in the discard.
Yeah.
Again, I was surprised to see that Rek'Sai in the Annie list. I'm excited to see what the Dana decides to do with it, though, because it's such a versatile card for things like your Legend coming out and also the Ferris Forerunner. And it's also just not a bad 3, energy 3 might. Like, it's got Assault 1, like, stats-wise, it's not a bad unit on its own.
Absolutely, and it looks like it's going to move in here to go ahead and get the first point. And we're going to exhaust 2 more to start stacking some units over here.
And this is what Annie does best. You get to play a lot of stuff and still have a lot of runes up. You're ready to at the end of every turn, so that is a Noxus Hopeful plus the Overzealous Fan on the battlefield with the Rek'Sai. So it's going to be really hard to take that battlefield now for Johannes.
Yeah, we've only got those 2 Might Sand Soldiers on the board as of right now. Interested to see what is in his hand for this next portion, but Annie is sitting pretty with 3 runes up for right now, so we're kind of chilling.
You can always go in with a Sand Soldier and just deal with the Overzealous Fan, because either it crashes or you just like deal, like they have to kill the Overzealous Fan to then bounce back the Sand Soldier. Usually at that point, I think if you're Dana, you would just accept that, or maybe you have like a spell in hand. But for a lot of reasons, I still like it. It's like, yeah, I mean, you're not doing much with these Sand Soldiers, so just like get the interaction out. That's something I talk about a lot. I've talked about it earlier on the stream. Just because your opponent has an answer doesn't mean that you can play around it. Sometimes you just have to chew through the answer so they don't have it anymore.
Right, exactly that. And it looks like that's what we're thinking on here through Johan. Let's see here. Is he going to move in with both or just one? And we're picking up.
Both would be surprising, unless you have a Defiant Dance in hand, or like a Guard or a Discipline.
Oh, JK.
Okay.
We're bringing out the Irelia with the 5 runes exhausted. So we're going to see her out early. I'm assuming we're going to equip the GA.
Honestly, I don't hate it, because like the Overzealous Fan, if you target this, that you have to pay the deflect cost, and then the Sand Soldiers still go in and deal with the Rek'Sai, as long as the Annie doesn't have anything else. Now, will we use the Irelia Legend to ready Irelia? That will give us a lot of information. Otherwise, you can also just play the passive route. I mean, I keep saying like the ways to get onto the battlefield. If you're the Irelia, sometimes you just want to play patient, and you can just send a Sand Soldier to the Seat of Power and just get a point and pass there. And it looks like that might be what Johannes does.
Yeah, I think we're also just going to go ahead and get the point on the other battlefield first. So go ahead and get that out of the way. And yeah, I'm also curious to see if we ready Irelia here to give her a little bit more might and also move her.
Does it add up yet when I was saying I'm not a very patient player? I'm always like, how do you deal with the battlefield? Get him in there. Get him off the battlefield. But nope. Johannes instead saying I'm going to take the patient route, not even sending the Sand Soldier in to deal with the Overzealous Fan, instead just keeping the resource back at base and not playing into the Annie 3 runes that were up. So now it's over to Dana with, that looks like 7 runes.
Yes. We've got 7 runes up. We're shuffling through, and we're going to move the Noxus Hopeful here, it looks like. Maybe just as some reinforcement, or maybe we want to, yes, we're going to take out that Sand Soldier here on the Seat of Power.
Ooh,
go ahead and get rid of that. Yes, and that's going to be another point for Dana.
And because you conquered Seat of Power while holding the other battlefield, you get to draw a card. So Dana, actually, that was a very efficient turn. Johannes didn't have anything. I was expecting at least like an On Guard or a Defiant Dance, but neither one comes out, so that's just pure card advantage to Dana. The Annie is taking an early lead here.
I love that. Shout out to my girl, Dana. Okay, period.
Looks like a Ferris Forerunner based on the runes, and there it is. It has landed on the seat of power. Ferris Forerunner, the bane of the format right now. This card is just so strong.
Yeah, it kind of just takes over. It is definitely a card to be feared. But also, she's got quite a lot of units that are starting to stack on this board. Is Irelia going to be able to catch up? We're going to go ahead and pass over to Johan.
A lot of runes up.
A lot of runes up.
So the Irelia gets an additional might every time you ready her or target her with an ability. So there's a lot of fun stuff you can do with that, right? You can send her in to the Sunken Temple, conquer, get the draw, and then like target her with something, readying her with your legend passive, move her back, try and target her again. I guess at that point you kind of need like a flash or something to get the right movement. But like there's ways to do this that you can send her in, get the draw, and then also get her back to the other battlefield because you want to get her big enough, if the goal is to be aggressive for Johannes, to beat over 10 might plus 3 runes visible, which theoretically could be like a Hextech Ray, Void Seeker, Rebuke. It can be a lot of stuff because Johannes obviously doesn't know the deck list that Dana's rocking right now.
Absolutely. So we still got the 3 runes up on the side of Annie. And yeah, you were talking about patience. One more time?
It's a scary thing, seeing an Annie with 3 runes up.
It is. It is. And I mean, that's just the nature of Annie. You always get those 2 runes at the end of your turn. But yeah, you were talking about patience. Oh, Boots of Swiftness is coming out. 3 runes exhausted for that. I'm curious to see, do we equip immediately?
Yeah, this is another one of the ways you can do it. Looks like 2 recycles, which I expect will be the equip and the legend cost to ready. Yep. So you target the Irelia with the Swifties, which will give her +1 might, and then you use your Irelia legend, which should currently be exhausted, but looks like they're not doing it right now. But Blade Dancer, whenever you choose a friendly unit, you may exhaust me to pay the power cost and ready it. So because it's ready, I'm assuming that that was paid, even though it's not currently exhausted. And then that not only targets the Irelia, but also readies her, so she gets the +2 might total, meaning that she's currently a 10. That is...
That's a big girl.
7 on her, and then the +1 from GA and +2 from Swifties. That is a big girl.
That is a big
But how do you say it?
girl.
Girl. That's a big girl. I'm saying it. I feel like I'm not saying it right.
You're doing great.
Yeah?
You're doing great.
Okay,
And just like this Irelia, who is moving over to start a showdown. And I'm curious to see what our Annie is going to respond with.
So this is the danger of the Irelia matchup, is that the Rebuke is so strong because it just gets through the GA. But it's early enough in the game that it's such a hard deflect cost. Ooh, looks like Dana's going to go fishing.
Let's see what we can get with the 1 exhausted rune for the stacked deck.
I really like this because whether you already have the Rebuke or not, it's just an efficient use of your runes while you have them. Let's see if Dana has something. I'm looking for things like Rebuke. I'm looking for things like Ride the Wind, which can also just kind of get you out of that and then move over to the Sunken Temple.
Absolutely. It looks like maybe she passed priority here, and we're going to tap.
So that was already exhausted, so this is just correcting.
Gotcha. Okay. Just wanted to make sure there.
So it's Johannes' priority again, and he's going to on-guard. So initially it would have been a crash, and Dana gave another action window to Johannes. Interesting that Johannes didn't go for the on-guard right away, and instead waits a little bit.
All right, so we've got the +5, the +1, and we're going
there
to
we
flash.
Go. That's another good one. It was that or Ride the Wind or Rebuke. Those are the big 3. Annie has so many of these 2 energy spells that make full use of the passive.
Yes. And so that's just going to save those 2 units so that they don't die, and then we're going to get the point going over to Johan.
And now that means that with a couple of runes up, Johan is actually going to go for a hidden. And this is still, I think, a pretty good spot for Dana to be in. You have the Sunken Temple to draw with the Ferris Forerunner and just so many units. And you didn't decelerate your runes at all. You still have all of your runes available for big swings later.
Absolutely, and I think we've got a hidden card here
Yep.
on that seat of power. So not sure what could be hidden here, but you know, interested to see later. It could be that tide turner that we were talking about earlier. So if this Irelia does get into trouble, we can just pop that on up.
Well, funnily enough, the tide turner would only be reinforcing with 2 might because you swap plays with the Irelia and it's still in the same location.
Yes, yes.
So I'm expecting something like a Zonia's potentially as the hitting card there. But here we go. Ferris Forerunner is going into the Sunken Temple, and that will get an extra draw for Dana.
Love that. So she's going up to 4 points to the 3. Just really stacking points here, moving carefully. And the Rek'Sai looks like she's going to move over to this Irelia.
So that is a 3 might plus Assault 1, so that's 4 might. And we are playing the Rengar. Reaction speed can play to a battlefield that you are currently attacking.
Yes, so that is going to be a total of 6 might coming over to Seat of Power.
5 might from Rengar.
Is that 5 from
Assault
Rek'Sai?
2.
Okay.
So Rek'Sai's 3 plus 1 is 4, and Rengar's 3 plus 2 is 5, so that's 9 total might that will be attacking. And there it is.
And there's the Zhonya's. Yep. So you don't even have to waste the GA at all. You just get to move Irelia back to base, and that Zhonya's is going to be discarded.
You'll also be able to take one of these units with it. The Irelia was a 7, so you can take out either one. I would probably assume the Rek'Sai, because they defend it the same. Yeah, they defend the same strength, but the Rek'Sai is a little more versatile in what it can do on the field. And yeah, I'm actually, so Dana's scoring points, and that's a scary thing in the Annie matchup because despite the fact Irelia is already trying to take control of the board, Annie doesn't really care what the current position Dana's in. But the same can be said that Johannes has kind of the Irelia setup. Like you still have GA on Irelia, and now you're going to have 6 runes to play with on your turn. That's a lot of resources that Irelia can play with.
It is. I'm not sure how many cards we have in hand at the moment, but that Tide Turner comes out, and we're going to swap positions. Maybe a little bait here to see if we can bring the Irelia out to play on the next go-round. But then we're going to move that overzealous fan over to the Seat of Power.
And we're yeah, sorry, what?
Oh, I was just going to say we're going to ready those 2 runes at the end of Annie's hand, and we're going to pass the turn.
Interesting to see the Ferris Forerunner hit by the Tide Turner instead of the Rengar. Typically, I would think you save the Rengar because it has Assault, so it's a little more valuable attacking than defending. And if Ferris Forerunner dies, you still get the mechs anyway. But Dana, I think, is playing for more of a long game here because saving the Ferris, to me, says I'm going to use the 6 might more efficiently than the 5 might of the Rengar, and I'll still have the Death Knell later on to play more of a grindy game versus the Irelia. But Irelia is still going to go in on the Tide Turner.
Yep, and she's going to win that battle, so that's going to be a conquer for Johan. And then we're drawing. Let's see what is next in store. I'm trying to get a peek at that hand there.
Yeah, you're usually really good at spotting these. Have you seen anything?
I'm trying to get a peek. No, everybody's holding their cards so close to chest. They said, Ms. Megan, you are not seeing nothing.
Yeah.
So
can we get the table judges? Hey, can you tell them to hold them forward about 6 inches?
So we're just thinking here, and the Fizz comes out. So with Fizz coming out, you have to exhaust 3 and recycle 1 purple rune. You are able to play a spell from your trash.
Yep. With 3 energy or less.
With 3 energy
but
or less.
But still, there's a lot of options. I'm thinking, like, what does he play? The Desert's Call is a big one right now. You won't be able to repeat cost it, but you could at least just get another unit out.
Now,
I think what the other spells are that Johannes has played.
Boots of Swiftness is on the board, so maybe we on guard and we make, and I do see that was just guard. Recycled.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so possibly moving that Boots of Swiftness Irelia over, and we're going to gank into the Rengar and the Overzealous fan while keeping that Sand Soldier on the Sunken Temple.
This will assuredly like force an interaction from Dana, whether it's the Overzealous fan or something in hand, because if you just let this go, that's another point to Johannes, and you get the draw from the Seat of Power, and there's the Rebuke.
And there's the Rebuke. We're going to exhaust 2 runes and recycle them just to go ahead and make sure.
And also the deflect cost recycle as well. So Rebuke, that's an expensive Rebuke. Ooh.
It looks like, did we defy?
Yeah,
we did.
It's not so fast, I think. Yeah, it's tough because Johannes's trash pile is currently kind of off screen, but I think that's a not so fast. So really, really heads up play from Dana, having the right resources to deal with.
Yes, making sure that she has that hard bargain. If you really want to counter something, boo, you're going to have to pay me, okay?
Hey, look at that. The top 3 most represented cards were all on the table at the same time. We had Ferris Forerunner, Rebuke, and Hard Bargain.
Yes, no, I love to see it. Obviously, we're going to see those cards a lot this weekend. They were like, what, over 500 instances or over 500 decks.
I think over 600 with Ferris Forerunner.
Yeah, over 600. And there we are. We're going to see that Noxus Hopeful yet again, really stacking these units on the Seat of Power, starting to get kind of heavy also on the Sunken Temple. We've exhausted quite a few runes. We've got one left up, but we're going to, again, Noxus Hopeful. Dana said, if you gonna come for me, baby, you gonna have to come correct.
Dana has played this very, very well. This is a dominant position. Johannes is gonna have to clear both battlefields with a Fizz, GA, and Swifties. And you don't even have, I guess you have enough to play the Irelia. It's like, theoretically, no, he's just going to go. Yeah, I was trying to think through. I'm like, you can equip to the Fizz, try and clear one, and then, like, play the Irelia and try and ready it. But, like, man, that's an expensive turn. So we're going to game number 2. Well done, Dana Fischer, picking up game 1 in a tough matchup. That's a 59% win rate for the Irelia.
Yeah, honestly, I love to see it. You know, like, you may think because she's so young, maybe she doesn't know how to play this TCG, but no, she's proven that she can handle it right now, and I love to see it. She came out swinging. Like, that wasn't a passive game for her. She was ready.
She pulled the Tibbers out.
Yeah, she pulled everything
Look at
out. The Tibbers is literally on the table.
That's awesome. Tibbers is taking a look at her hand, maybe giving some advice of, like, I'd keep that one. Maybe cycle that one for game number 2.
Isn't that cheating? We need to get that Tibbers out of here.
Not if we can't prove that it's talking. I feel like only Annie can hear the Tibbers in the lore. So
have you seen her Tibbers?
I have. It was right there, actually. Yeah, that one I can't answer yet. All right, Zon Warren's up next for the Annie versus Ravenbloom Conservatory. Honestly, Annie likes both of these. Irelia kind of likes both these too, just because the Zon Warrens can help you get towards your GAs and your Zonies a little faster. But as we saw, Annie has access to Rebuke. Doesn't really care about those, death protection gears.
I was really interested to see if the Irelia player was going to recycle. I saw that he had 2 Defiant Dances in hand, a Not So Fast. I think there was a Discipline or a Defy. It's one of those. But he did end up mulliganing 2, and we're going to tap 2 immediately and bring in that Tide Turner.
There he is. And this is what I was saying. Like, it's not ideal. You have better 2 energy units that you typically want to play turn 1, but it doesn't feel bad just getting a guy out there either way. So. And another red Rek'Sai. Okay, so Dana showed us that Rek'Sai, you don't even need to use the ability for it to be an effective card. Like, maybe I was just overlooking the stat efficientness of this. It's just 3 energy, no recycle, that can accelerate and has Assault. That's actually a very versatile card, and Dana's just happy to play it going second.
Absolutely. Now, we are going to go ahead and get the first score for the Irelia, and with that Tide Turner sitting on Raven Bloom, I'm curious to see, is Rek'Sai going to go in, or yes, just conquer the other battlefield a little safer. Not sure what Johan has in store.
You can also just see more of your deck as the Annie player, and you're not giving the Irelia the potential of just basically drawing a free card with that Ravenbloom Conservatory. Also, not even accelerating this Kaisa. Typically, I think you accelerate the Kaisa, send it into that Tide Turner, but with so many runes already on Johannes' side, Dana is playing a very patient game here. I actually like this, just respecting, nope, it's not my time to swing. We'll wait till later.
Absolutely. We're going to get another hold point for Johan. And as you said, it's a very respectful, like you can tell she knows when to play aggressive, but she also knows, like, okay, we see all of these runes up on the Irelia side. There's so much that could be in hand. The Defiant Dance, you have the Disciplines, you have the On Guards, and that Stella is finally making her debut. 4 runes, exhausted, and we're going to pass over to Dana.
And now this is a much easier opportunity for an Annie to say, okay, only 2 runes available, now I might be more comfortable to go in. Before, when it's 4, it's like, that's kind of scary. But at this point, I think you have a little more confidence to say, I'm going to hold for a point and then can send this Kaisa into the Tide Turner. Doesn't mean that Irelia won't have answers. It just means that they won't have access to as many, especially if you have something like a Hard Bargain for their Defiant Dance or their On Guard.
Exactly. And curious to see, we're going to exhaust for, We're exhausting everything. Recycling.
Oh!
Mind Splitter. Lock the frick in. Mind Splitter comes out to play.
Incredibly high value card right now. You play it on Rune Curve. You get to see every card in Johannes' hand, which he's been holding onto a lot, and you get to get rid of any of the threats. He's going to have multiple threats. It looks like Defiant Dance. We didn't actually see. It looks like he was maybe showing them.
He's defying. Oh, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
He's reacting with Defiant Dance. That makes sense. Okay. So it's a reaction speed spell. He's going to use it now in response to the Mind Splitter's effect, giving the Kaisa -2, and I'm assuming Tide Turner +2. And now we get to see.
Okay, so we've got the Not So Fast, we've got the Defiant Dance, we've got the Flash, and we've got the Vex, a 5-might unit. But what are we going to choose, Miss Dana?
With 2 runes up, actually 1 rune up, yeah, I think now knowing that Johannes only has 1 Defiant Dance for the rest of the game makes things very, very easy for Dana going forward. You're almost never going to lose combat versus this. The only problem is that the Kaisa's not going to be able to clear this Tide Turner. And the Stellacorn Herder with the Flash still in hand can basically get 2 draws guaranteed if Johannes wants to spend the runes for it, which basically means one of the biggest strengths of Mind Splitter is not just the fact you get rid of a card, but you get information.
Yes.
And then Stellacorn starts doing Stellacorn things. You're like, what happened to all my information?
Yes.
Like, now there's so many more cards that I don't even know about anymore, so you kind of lose that advantage. But
yes.
I think it's still a good spot to be in regardless for Dana, having also just a 7-might unit. But here we go. Leaving the battlefield to allow the Stellacorn to go in.
Yes, and that's going to be another point over to Johan.
This also signals to me, because Dana backs the Rek'Sai off of the point, gives the free point to Johannes. Johannes can probably operate with information that Dana doesn't have a lot to stop Johannes for pushes right now with the hand. I guess there's no Chaos Runes being shown, so things like Rebuke are definitely offline. Things like Ride the Wind are offline, so maybe that's where Dana's hesitation's coming in, but having to play a much more passive game early as the Annie and allowing the Irelia to get ahead in points is really good for the Irelia. Like, Johannes is now in a very solid spot.
Absolutely, and we're going to see that Vex come out right now. So we're exhausting that those 5 runes, and we're recycling 1 to pay those costs. And I think we're going to pass turn over to Dana. Let's see what she does here.
Keeping the Tide Turner out at the Ravenbloom Conservatory, to me, says Johannes does not want to save the unit, wants to try and get a spell off the top of the deck by defending. Remember that, oh, actually, now that I think about it, the Flash is still in hand. So you can also just, like, if they attack the Tide Turner first, save both and still get the draw. So I think if you're Dana, if you read that play, you need to go in for the Stellacorn Herder first.
And I think that's what we're about to do. So
Dana knew it before I did.
Yeah, exactly. The Mind Splitter goes in to Zaun's Warrens, and we're going to start a showdown with the Stella. And that's just going...
Flash will move him back. Yep.
Yep.
Now, there was the option to leave the Tide Turner to try and grade for a spell, because like Tide Turner at this point doesn't do much for you, but Johannes is still saying, nope, I'm just going to keep the unit. I'd rather have the guaranteed card rather than try and fish for a spell.
Absolutely. So that Flash is no longer in the inventory of what we saw during the Mind Splitter.
Yeah, so is Vex. So like now think about it, there's like no information.
Exactly. So we're moving in that Kaisa. We're going in a little bit blind, but we're also going in confident because there's no runes up on the side of West. So there's no response that can really be done here.
Oh, you switched up that time.
I did. I really think I'm messing up his name, and I don't want to be disrespectful.
That's why I feel like Johannes, I'm pretty confident on that one.
Mr. Fuest. Mr. Fuest.
We're going to have to make sure that Barrett asks him this time.
Yeah.
We didn't get the Thunder 60 Thunder. I forget which one that one was round 2. But here's Annie passing turn. This is a very solid board state right now. Both battlefields controlled. 7 might on one, 10 might on the other, one of which is Ferris Forerunner. But the Vex is dangerous. Vex, when she is in combat, means that all of your spells cost 1 power less and 1 energy less to a minimum of 1. Meanwhile, your opponent's spells cost 1 more of both categories. So if Dana wants to do like a Rebuke, you have to tap all 3 and then recycle 3.
Yeah.
That's really painful. Vex Cheerless is a powerhouse of a mid-range unit, and Irelia can take very, very strong advantage of this.
Yeah, that's a scary thing to do as an Annie, is to have to face this Vex Cheerless. we've got all runes up on Mr. Fuest's side. We're kind of thinking here of what course of action we want to do against these mighty units that are on the board. And it looks like Stella and Vex might be taking a trip. Where are we going?
Typically in states like this, you kind of want to move the Stellacorn first to get the draws, because that gives you more information for how you want to play the rest of your turn. So we're going to threaten the Mind Splitter right now. This is already enough might to clear the Mind Splitter. Now, will Johannes pass priority? Because if you let this Vex die, I mean, I guess it served a purpose.
And it looks like priority is passed. We're tapping that 3. We're recycling that 1. And we're going to flash the Kaisa and the Mind Splitter back to our base.
I actually like this from Dana. You're saving a unit that will get you advantage in a draw if it conquers, and just a big 7-might unit. Sometimes Irelia can struggle to spend its resources to get its stuff out on the field, and also have resources then to fight these big units. The problem right now is that Johannes has control of 1 battlefield, has another unit ready to go, and a lot of runes up. So there's a chance that Johannes can still make this work regardless.
Yes, it's really exciting to see, but also how Dana, she knew she had that flash in store. She was kind of just like, yeah, come over here. I'm just going to move these units back to my base to make sure that we stay safe and sound.
Discard the second Stellacorn for these on Warrens to get another draw. And here we go, Boots of Swifties. This is a big one because we can equip this to Vex, ready the Vex, send the Vex in the Ferris Forerunner. Dana is tapped out. That will be 7-might on 6. And already that is enough to clear it. And a Vex that's 7-might is even scarier, especially with Genki, because no battlefield's safe now.
Yeah, exactly. So it looks like we are going to trigger.
Yep.
And yes.
Ravenbloom Conservatory did not find a spell, so no +1 for Dana, but that's a Rek'Sai down.
Unfortunate. And it's okay, because we're going to get those 2 3-might mech tokens played to base. So the might is essentially still on the board. It's just not at a battlefield. So that's going to be another point scored, another conquer for the Vex. And Mr. Fuest has a couple of runes still up. You got to stop laughing at me saying Mr. Fuest.
I think it's so funny that we're both just choosing a different half of the name.
Yeah, Are
you sure it's not Fust?
Oh, man. I truly hope not. As we stack this Tide Turner's might on the Vex down here on the Ravenbloom Conservatory.
Interesting. I guess, if there's like a rebuke preemptively before combat, this means that you at least get the hold or the defend trigger of Ravenbloom Conservatory. It's going to come down a lot to what Johannes has in hand. The only thing that is still known from that Mind Splitter was a not so fast. I believe that was also in hand with the Vex, with the Flash, and with the Defiant Dance that was then discarded. So the Stellacorn has completely reset the hand, and now Dana's going to be operating with only 1 known piece of information.
And boom, Desert's Call is going to be played. So we're going to get those 2, the Sand Soldier played to stack some more might onto the Ravenbloom. But 3 runes still up on the side of Fuest. So Dana's going to channel her 2 runes, draw for turn, and let's see if we can clear, because we've got to clear at least 1.
Going to dig a little for a stacked deck. Now, we have so much might on the field right now. Yeah. I think just mathematically, Dana can already clear the battlefield. It's just going to come down to what interaction Johannes has in hand. The problem is Dana, Johannes could just flash stuff back. The fact that he committed so much to Ravenbloom Conservatory makes me think he's probably not going to do that.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard to hold. I like this. Send the Kaisa into the Stellacorn. Very efficient use of the Kaisa.
Yep, and Stella is going to just die. We're not even going to fight there. That showdown resolves rather quickly. So Dana's going to go up to 5 points here. And
trigger the Kaisa to draw and then trigger the Zon. That's correct sequencing there.
Lovely. Love a rule follower. Love that.
Just efficiency, really, because you always want to see that additional card before you make the decision of what to discard with the Zon Warrens. So again, yeah, Dana's played a very clean game. Both of these players have played very clean games so far. I haven't noticed anything that I'm like, oh, that was odd. Other than maybe again the Tide Turner for the Ferris Forerunner instead of the Rengar. But again, we got value out of the Ferris Forerunner. He was able to do a lot later on.
So we are going to exhaust one rune.
Oh.
And we're cleaving. And it looks like we're going to send the Rek'Sai, the Mind Splitter, and a mech token in for a showdown.
And I think that Dana targeted the mech token with the cleave. It looked like that. Yep, there we go. So mech tokens, 6 plus 7 on Mind Splitter. That's 13 plus 4 on Rek'Sai. That's 17. We do have a... Oh, okay, so he's defending with a Ravenbloom Conservatory and just flipped a Rebuke. That's a really strong spell. Focus is now for Dana. Does Dana want to use anything here with priority? Passing it, I think. I just heard Dana say.
Yeah. And we're going to recycle 1.
So Rebuke would tap 2, recycle 2. But, oh, no, Vex is in combat. Right.
Oh,
I missed the Vex is under the Tide Turner. So Vex means that Rebuke is only a 1, recycle 1. And then with 3 runes up, you have to tap all 3 and recycle 1 for the hard bargain. Will Johannes spend 2 to counter that?
Okay, so it looks like we tapped 1 for Discipline.
So the Rebuke did not go off. It did get countered.
Yes.
But we're still using the Vex ability to make your spells cheaper. Discipline went to 1 energy cost in combat with Vex.
So that's going to give +2 to that Vex, it looks like. And
this is 13 on 13?
Yeah, both of these, all of the units might just dissipate here.
Yeah, Vex is 5 plus 2 from Boots plus 2 from the Discipline. That's 9. And then 2 on Tide Turner's 11, 2 on the Sand Soldiers 13. And if my math was correct earlier, oh wait, no, it was 17. It was only 13 from Mind Splitter and the mech because of the cleave. So it will clear everything but the mech token. Okay.
Okay.
Really efficient from Dana there.
Yes, so that's going to be an additional point for Dana here. And we need to pick up those boots. Yup. Boots were made for walking, and that's just what they'll do back to base.
I don't think the mech steals them. That would be very funny, though.
That would be.
What's a mech need with boots, you know?
Oh, it looks like we're recycling a rune, and we're hiding a card over on the side of Zon. And we're going to ready those 2 runes at the end of the turn.
Hiding?
It could be a Tide Turner. Didn't she also have a Tide Turner in her?
I would imagine the Tide Turner would be hid in the Ravenbloom Conservatory to try and save the Kaisa.
You mean the mech? The Kaisa is... Oh,
yeah,
I see. You switch. Yeah.
Exactly. You can't swap with the Kaisa currently. But so that makes me think maybe it's not, unless you're just trying to reinforce for 6 might there. But it could be other things theoretically, like Edge of Night. 2 runes readied up, so you can also go for things like Longsword here. So this Vex is being played. This is a second. Oh wait, no. Yeah, no.
This is the second Vex. Yeah. So we're going to exhaust 5 runes and recycle 1 to bring out another Vex, and we're going to go ahead and ready her and equip those Boots of Swiftness. Move in for that mech, and we were looking for a spell, but no luck there. So that mech token will die. Unless.
I mean, Dana might still have something else. It's going to be an expensive spell in combo with Vex.
Yep, that mech token is gone.
Now, that was an expensive turn for Johannes. You have to recycle a power to play the Vex. You have to recycle a power to equip the Boots. You have to recycle a power to ready the Vex with the Irelia Legend. 3 recycled. And wait, was that another? Oh, we Charm. Ooh.
Oh, and Switcheroo.
Of course, they never expect.
I knew some switching was about to be done with that hidden card. And so switching.
Oh, jeez. So when you use Charm, you're making your opponent the attacker, so you're defending at Ravenbloom, so you trigger the Ravenbloom.
Oh.
He just got an on guard right there with 1 rune up. Johannes is in a dominating position right now.
That is mad tough. So we have 6 points on the side of Dana, 7 points on the side of Wes, and
it's not over though, because we still have Annie Stubborn. So Dana could play Annie, get the Rebuke back, rebuke the Vex. We know that there is an out currently in play, just known information. Dana has the ability. But can you get in with 2 units to score and win? Yeah, we don't have enough for like Ride the Wind on top of that. I don't think that Dana can win this turn, but you can at least deal with the Vex.
Yes, and it looks like she's fishing through her recycled bin here, trash bin right now, just kind of take count of what we've got. And yeah, that is 4 runes exhausted.
Yep.
And we're going to bring out that Annie.
There she is. The namesake, the cosplayer.
Stubborn.
Oh.
Oh, we're bringing out a stack deck. We're going fishing.
Maybe there wasn't a rebuke, because I know Johannes rebuked, and I know that Dana did game 1. Maybe Dana hasn't rebuked game 2. I might have had the wrong read there.
Maybe
but we'll wait to see
that rebuke.
Yeah, we'll wait to see what Dana does following up here.
All right, we're moving in to get that 7th point on the side of Dana, and it looks like that is secured. So we're 7-7 now. But it's a very scary place because we do not want this Vex to hold for that 8th point.
And it looks like that's game.
And
so yeah, the fact that Dana did not grab a rebuke makes me think that she just didn't have one in the trash. I think that was something that was spilled over in my brain from game number 1, and also the fact that Johannes had played one. I don't believe Dana had actually played one in that game, because otherwise I think that was the line you go down there. So well played by Johannes, bringing us to a game number 3.
Yes, I love it. A lot of competitiveness right here. You know, you're never fully out of a match until the game ends. So we're going to game 3. Let's see what happens.
Really good battlefields for Dana.
Yeah.
Arena's greatest going first means that the game's going to be accelerated, especially against an Irelia, who I honestly play Aspirant's Climb, because I want the game to go longer as Irelia. You want time to kind of scale up all of your gears and such. And Annie wants to play a faster game. You also get the Zon Warrens, which you were playing game 2, so you get some draw engine, and you get a faster game, and you get to go first. I think Dana is in a really good spot already, just before even a single card's been played.
All right, and it looks like she's mulliganing 1, and it looks like Irelia is satisfied with the hand, so I think we're about to get started. We're channeling 2 runes, and we're drawing for turn, and any 2 costs. It looks like, yes, the overzealous fan does come out to play. Yep. So we're passing the turn to Fuest, channeling 3 runes, exhausting all 3. And we're going to go ahead and play a Boots of Swiftness. So it will be some ganking here shortly. We're passing the turn.
And Johannes and Dana should both be at 1 point right now because of Arena's greatest. So we'll get that updated here shortly on the screen. But this will be then 2 points for Dana, as that overzealous fan will go into a battlefield. And again, you just go into the Zon Warrens, because Arena's greatest doesn't do anything. You just save that for maybe Kaisa to get draws off of. But you're just happy to loop the Zon Warrens as much as you can.
Absolutely. I think they're getting the points figured out here because of the battlefield. So it might just take a second here.
So Arena's greatest is one of those ones that you have to declare at the start of your beginning phase. I clearly heard Dana do it. I did not hear Johannes do it. So there's a chance that that might be what the judge calls it. It's all speculation. I don't know. I'm just trying to gauge it based on some body language there, and I clearly saw Dana point to the Arena's greatest, and I think move a die on the side. I did not see the same from Johannes, so if that's the call, that's tough, but maybe that's what's happening.
I do remember playing in a Nexus night, and somebody was like, you have to call it if you want it.
Yeah.
And maybe it wasn't called. That might just be a free point for Dana, possibly going to 2. Unless she wants to let Fuest, I guess, just get the point, but I don't even know if that's something that you'd want to do. Oh, it looks like a little bit of upsetness over on the side of Fuest. I'm not going to lie. He might just be missing out on that
high
point.
pressure moment.
Yeah.
Right here. And your X1 going X2 will get you to day 2, but
yeah.
I don't think it's going to get you to a top 8.
Saying out loud all the content score stuff.
Yeah, that's a little frustrating. I bet Dana is in her mind yeah, I got that point.
I think it's a tough situation.
Yeah,
often.
Sure.
I mean, it's obviously a different setup when you're at a locals versus a Nexus night.
Yeah.
Versus a regional. This is a big
real
deal, especially when you're X1 at the regional. We're having the judge chat with Johannes off. It's on cam, I guess, but off to the side right there. And just a high-pressure, high-stress moment for everybody on the stage right now. But again, I just want to go back to the point that Dana's playing this matchup very well when it is a 59% win rate for Irelia based on the Lille stats.
Right.
Our producer looked into it. It was my gut said it's Irelia favorite as well. And I don't think Johannes has been playing bad in any way.
No.
Like, nothing he's done has been like, that was confusing. Or like, I obviously don't know everything in his hand, so I don't know like what exactly I would do in his shoes, but like it's all made sense to me.
Absolutely.
Dana's just playing around it really well.
Yes, you can tell she's probably studied this matchup because there are so many Irelias out here on the field. There's a lot.
Second most popular.
So she probably knows, okay, do I need to be a little bit more patient here? Do I need to move in more aggressively? I've got this in my hand. I think I'm free to do whatever I really want to on this board. And she's playing that very well.
Yeah, and again, the patience is something I always like to highlight anytime the players on stage represent this, because there's the human element to the feature match stream. That's something that a lot of folks at home that watch along, maybe they don't fully appreciate. I'm sure a lot of people do appreciate it, but some might just be like, oh, like, why are they doing that? Or like, oh, why are they doing that? But then you have to realize, like, the lights are on you, the cameras are on you, like you're away from the table. It's a much more quiet environment, which some people like, some people don't. So it's like, I think the pressure buildup means that you see more misplays on feature matches than the players would do if they were just playing on the tables. And that's kind of the give and take. It's fun to be on feature match, but it's also a stressful situation. So whenever players show that they're patient, that they're taking their time, and that they're actually playing with a lot of like, respect for the answers their opponents can have, I always like to highlight that because I think that that's something that can be hard to do. It's easy to lose track of that 100%. When you're in the stressful situation. But so far, Dana has played a very calm-headed game, and even in this moment seems calm in the seat right now. So let's see. Hopefully we'll have an answer soon from the judges as to what the current game state is. I'm going to assume Dana will have 1 point, Johannes will have 0 when we come back, but I'm not the judge, so don't take my word for it. We'll see once we get back into the game.
What I am going to use that angle is to look at his hand. He had a GA in hand. So when we do see that Irelia finally come out, there will be some protection on the board.
But I want to say, because now we are seeing that it's 0 points for Johannes at this current game state, just to kind of highlight the tough hole that he's dug himself into right now, because already you're not in a good spot when you're tied in points at this point in the game. Let alone, like it now being a point behind, because Dana's about to score another one here. That's going to put Dana to 2 points. Johannes has no units on the field and can try and mount a comeback, but it can be tough. Again, the pressure of the moment can be a lot.
Now, it's very crucial as well that he does not let this little setback here deter the entire game. He needs to make sure he locks in, he stays focused, because just because she's up 2 points doesn't mean the game is over.
No,
the game is over.
You can mount a comeback.
Exactly. The game is over at 8 points, okay? So there's still 6 more that have to be obtained. So there's still a possibility. Boots of Swiftness already on the board. Like I said, there is a GA in hand. So it's possible that some ganking can be done. 2 points can be gotten in a single round if time permits.
I'm trying to peek at Dana's hand right there. It looks like there's a flash and a hard bargain that I saw.
Yeah.
Can't quite make out the rest. Oh, is that a switch?
There's a switcheroo in there, too.
Oh, that card is terrifying.
Yes, it is.
Let me tell you. It is not so fastable. You can't defy it, but you can not so fast, and you can hard bargain, which Irelia has access to both of. So Johannes can still play around it, but man, that card, I swear, I've won many a locals because I hide it and people are just forget it exists.
Absolutely.
They're like, that's not fight or flight.
Right.
That's banned now. What could it be? And then they attack and they're like, switcheroo. Like,
dang it.
Some about that card, you just kind of forget it exists. So we're going to establish the Irelia and then put the Swifties on it, but not ready yet.
Exactly. We're just going to pass that turn over. So Dana is going to go up to those 3 points after we channel those runes, draw for turn, and it looks like we're going to exhaust.
Hearing from production that we're adding 5 minutes as well for the judge call. So that 12:24 on your screen right now will be a 17:20 currently once those 5 minutes get added. So we're going to go for the Accelerate Kaisa.
Absolutely. We're going to accelerate that Kaisa to go ahead and score on the other battlefield. And we're going to draw off of that Kaisa as well, because when she conquers, she gets to draw one. We're passing turn. We're going to ready those 2 runes for Annie, and we're going to awaken on the side of West. Because of the ready, we get to give +1 to that Irelia, and now we're going to start for real.
Now it's game time. Let's see what Johannes can do. There's 3 runes up for the Annie. Rebuke Rebuke is still your enemy, but you have Not So Fast, you have Hard Bargains, both of which will stop it. We're going to go into the Overzealous Fan first.
With 3 runes up from Annie, we're just checking here. What do we want to do? How do we want to respond?
And it's looking like we are going to Overzealous. Oh no, we passed.
We're going to flash that back to base. Oh, we're flashing both.
I like it. Because again, then you get to re-trigger the Kaisa Conquer on the Arena's Greatest, Arena's Greatest. Or if Johannes finds a way to like gank that Irelia over, then you go onto the Zon Warrens, which is even better.
Exactly. So we're actually going to Desert's Call here.
We're discarding it with the Zon Warrens.
Oh, we're discarding it. I see. Okay. And we're going to figure out what we want to do in this situation. I would like to see Irelia re-readied and moved over to the other side for those additional points. Kind of get back into the game here.
Yeah.
See what West is thinking.
The one positive of this position Johannes is in is he has not decelerated his runes very much. That's, again, one of the big dangers. Like, you played the Irelia and it survived. And he doesn't have a lot of ways to, like, deal with an Irelia just back in base. And now with the GA, the Irelia is going to be even safer. Let's see if Johannes wants to ready the Irelia or if you just hold it at the Zon Warrens.
Yeah, I'm curious to see as well after attaching that GA. It looks like we're shuffling through our cards just to think. Yeah, we're going to get that counter to go up because we did choose Irelia with the GA. So she does get that additional might off of that. And we're going to charm in.
That's big for Johannes because you're slowing down the draw power. The Kaisa will die here, will not get the draw off the Conquer on the Arena's Greatest. I mean, Dana's still going to be fine in points, so like Johannes hasn't solved that issue yet, but dealing with the threats on the board is kind of step number 1.
Exactly. So we're going to pass our turn after that. So Dana is going to go ahead and channel those 2 runes, draw for turn, and we do have an open battlefield over here. Does she want to use that? Instead, we're going to, oh, is that a Mind Splitter coming out? How many runes did we just?
It looks like it, yeah. That's 7.
7 in recycling too.
There it is.
Yep, there it is. The Mind Splitter does come out to play. Big Might unit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reveal the hand. Yep, we see a flash. We see a rebuke. We see a charm. We see a Not So Fast. And we get to discard a card from this hand.
Strong
what are you using
hand.
Here?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my gut says rebuke, but that's a really strong hand. Because, like, if Johannes is able to flip a green rune here, you can always, like, charm, and then I guess we don't have a way to buff the Irelia currently, but Irelia is, what, 6, 7, then 8? No, don't do it. She's 8 when she readies. 8 when she readies on at the start of Johannes' turn, so just charm is already enough to deal with the Mind Splitter. Yeah, but it is still the rebuke. I feel like that's what I would do too, but that's tough. That's a scary hand to look at there. Johannes might still be in this.
Yes, and I mean, but now Dana has that intel. She also has another point here, and we're hiding a card. Now, we do know she had that switcheroo in hand earlier, so I'm just going to assume that's what it is. But we're going to pass the turn and ready 2 runes.
And with the deflect cost on Irelia, even if she ganks over and you switch a Rue, you have to recycle one, and we see the Not So Fast in hand.
Oh.
I think Dana might have a hard bargain, but like if Johannes sequences this correctly, which also did flip 2 green runes, Johannes' hand is crazy to deal with this board.
Huge RNG right now.
I think if I'm Johannes, I'm probably just doing the charm right away and just seeing if Dana tries to stop you with anything. Deal with the Mind Splitter, then try and gank over because you don't know what's going on over there, but then you still have the Not So Fast with 2 green runes. It's so crucial that Johannes flipped 2 green runes. No, he's going to go for the gank first.
Okay, I don't think he's too scared right now. I think we're looking at 7 might from this Irelia. No, is it 8? It's 8 might. That's a +2.
It should be 8, yep. And there's the switcheroo. Pay the deflect cost, targeting the Irelia and the Overzealous Fan. If this resolves, that means Irelia goes to 2 might and the Overzealous Fan will go for more, but we're actually going to flash to dodge it.
So we're going to flash to dodge that little switcheroo. We're going to move our unit back to base.
I would recycle a purple. Yeah, there we go. Okay.
Yeah, those greens are very valuable
Yep.
right now, just in case.
Wow.
So we're moving that Irelia back to base, but we're also keeping tabs on, we're choosing this Irelia, so she's still getting stronger.
I'm interesting Johannes did it that way. Because now if you send the Irelia back in, Dana could just overzealous fan send it back again, and then the charm's not a threat. But I guess you're not winning on your next turn anyway, and that way Dana's only at 4 runes. That's kind of scary. But you could, like, Annie get a switcheroo, hide the switcheroo. Like, there's a lot of stuff you can do at that point. So, or get back, like, the flash, and then have flash ready to save the Mind Splitter if, like, it gets charmed in.
Yeah.
So I actually think that, like, Johanna, again, the sequencing-wise, that's why I like the idea of, like, charming first, because it just guarantees deals with the Mind Splitter. And when you're behind like this, you have to deal with threats on the board, because if you let those threats stay, Dana's only going to get more and more points.
Exactly.
And if you have the clean avenue to just deal with the threat, I like taking that. But, of course, Johannes now is in this position, so let's see what Johannes decides to do from here.
We're getting a bit of thinking here because, yeah, I think there's just so many decisions to keep in mind here. So we're actually going to re-attack. This Irelia is that much bigger. Let's see what happens.
Dana's going to do it, and I'm also remembering Johannes does have the not so fast. So maybe you go for the not so fast here. Yep, there we go. Okay, so Johannes actually did have a pretty clean line. You not so fast that, you're still at the battlefield, you still get the point, and then we can still charm the Mind Splitter. And that deals with all the threats. And Dana still is only at 4 runes. Johannes is actually mounting a comeback right now.
He might just be cooking in the stew right now. We're going to hard bargain.
But we knew there was a hard bargain, and there's no longer enough runes for Johannes.
Yep.
Oh.
So that's going to be the end of his turn. He is going to pass over to Dana. Now, she only has those 4 runes, and Irelia is still on the board. GA is equipped to her, though, so not too scary, but maybe we do get that off the board. Let's see what Dana cooks.
It's scary to attack in because it's 5 Might Irelia, an On Guard, or a why am I blanking on the name of the Irelia signature spell? Defiant Dance. There we go.
Yes.
Either one can deal with it, but how about this? We're just going to send in the Rek'Sai with the Mind Splitter. Just guarantee the take here.
Yes, and so we're going to choose to trade
also,
the GA for the Mind Splitter.
Yeah, I missed that the boots, the Swifty boots were also on the Irelia because it's kind of like a little off now. But yeah, that was a big Irelia. That was 7 Might. So Dana will get the point. We'll ready to...
And here we are. We're going to pass over to Mr. Fuest. We're going to channel those 2 runes. We're going to, of course, ready the Irelia. So she's automatically going up 1 Might. And let's see what we draw from our deck here. So
Irelia is probably going to go into the Rek'Sai. I'm usually a fan of do the thing you know you're always going to do before you start tapping your runes. Because your decision tree might change later.
Yeah.
So if you just send the Irelia in first, you get to see what Dana has cooking before you make your next call. Because maybe you just, like, it gets rebuked, you want to replay the Irelia, something like that, right? But the crazy thing Dana could have, and Johannes might not have an answer for, ride the wind. If you attack this Rek'Sai and Dana ride the winds over to the Zon Warrens, scores, and then can hold, that's game.
Yeah.
We go to combat. Oh, Dana does not have anything. Ooh.
And that's going to be the end of Rek'Sai there. And we are going to get a conquer point over for Mr. Fuest here. Now, do we ready? Oh, we're going to play a Vex. We're going to exhaust 5, recycle 1 to play a Vex. I'm really interested that, like, I would want to score 2 points per turn by readying my Irelia, but he's really conserving those runes to not get too low on resources.
This is a very intricate game state currently. We are on turn, I don't even remember exactly. I want to say turn 6 or 7 for Dana.
You're doing this on
I'm
purpose.
not doing this on
You're
purpose.
making this hard.
I'm not. That was purely
Come on, bro.
But we're deep into the game, and it's still only 6-5 now. And the runes were getting pretty low. Dana went down to 2 at one point, now up to 5. And just kind of establishes the field. You're just going to go for the Rek'Sai, the Nox is hopeful, try and reestablish a board, because Dana's in a position where 2 conquers will win the game, but Johannes is kind of in still a bit of a hot seat, because you have to spend at least one more turn.
Yes.
But you do have more resources because you hold here. Irelia can just gank over to the Zon Warrens and get that point, and then you have 6 runes to play with to make sure that you hold the points for the next turn.
Exactly. And I'm curious to see what we're thinking about doing here. Only 2 runes. Yep, we're ganking over for that additional point. So now we're tied here. We've got that 6-6. And it looks like we're discarding that Defy.
To me, that signals there might be another Defy, because I would save that Defy for like a Ride the Wind. That's one of like the best win conditions for Dana right now. Although, you know, at this point, I suppose it's a little less of a win condition because Johannes is at 6. So you can always just conquer and hold, and you know, we're closer to that end game. But still, I think it signals that Johannes probably has something else to deal with these annoying anti-spells.
Something up his sleeve. And I think we might just be leaving those 2 units on the board. Maybe we want to see if she can actually clear both boards. We're looking, we're thinking. We've got, what, 6 runes to play with right now?
6 runes on Johannes' side. It'll be 7 at the start of Dana's turn. So Annie with a Rek'Sai and a Noxus Hopeful, representing essentially 8 total attacking might and 7 runes available. That's what Dana's going to be playing with, but here comes the Fizz.
Here comes the Fizz. We're exhausting 3 and recycling 1, and we're going to play a spell. Oh, is it the Charm?
It might be Charm. Yep, just deal with the threats. Johannes has done a good job so far this game of dealing with the threats. If you're this far behind in points against another deck, like Annie doesn't have that many units. It's about half of the deck is units, but like if you can just make sure that there's never units on the field, Annie's not going to be able to score the points. And that's exactly how Johannes is approaching this.
So we're moving in that Noxus Hopeful, and we're passing priority, and then she's going to pass it right back, which means that the Noxus Hopeful is going to die here, and we're passing turn. So she has to get 1 battlefield at least cleared.
Yeah, if you can just clear the 1 and then hold it, you're still in a pretty good spot. The problem is there's a Vex on 1, so it's scary to go into the Vex. And if you go into the Irelia Fizz, well, next turn, Vex gets the Swifty Boots and can then gank over and still do Vex things. So that Vex is going to be a headache no matter which way you slice it.
Yep. And we've only got this Rek'Sai on the board at the moment. It looks like we're getting...
I see Judge Call on the screen, but it looks like Dana's still playing, so I don't know how accurate that is. Oh, okay, it's actually looking like Dana's requesting one, so there we go. Little spoiler.
All right, well, let's kind of analyze this board state, because it's very close. It's very close here. We've got the Fizz, we've got the Irelia sitting on Zon, and we've got the Vex, like you said.
Okay, I want to hear.
Does accelerate the additional cost, or does it just enter right?
So Dana's asking, how does the Accelerate work on the Rek'Sai? To my understanding, the Accelerate gives Accelerate to the unit that is their color. Accelerate just as a tag just means you pay an energy cost and the color equivalent to the card you're playing's power cost. So say it's Annie, Stubborn, that means that you would pay an energy and recycle a Chaos rune as well. That's a purple power cost. So you're not paying the Rek'Sai Accelerate power cost for the unit you're playing. You're playing the equivalent Accelerate cost of the unit. So...
Gotcha, and that just might be what the judge is explaining here. And I think we're just getting the...
So 1 energy and an additional energy and an additional hit.
Correct. An additional power of that unit.
Yeah, so the judge is confirming. It's fun when we get to hear the judges ruling on these things, but also, self-5, I got it right too. After self-reporting that I failed the judge test when I took it earlier. Actually, I didn't do it between rounds. We said we were going to do that. I still need to do that. But Annie is going to come in and accelerate.
Yes, so Annie comes in, we exhaust 4, and we recycle 2. And here we go. Let's see who we're moving in on. We have 2 runes left to play with. Do remember that switcheroo is boom.
Oh!
Right there. So we're also going to go ahead and attack into this Fizz and Irelia.
And I think we have to switcheroo. Actually, wait, how much might is this? This is currently 7 attacking in on 6 for Irelia and 3 for Fizz. and we are going to switcheroo. And we're going to target the Irelia. So we're paying the deflect cost. This is all in. This is Annie going all in right now to clear this Irelia, make sure that this happens. And even then, it's scary because like a rebuke on Johannes' side is just game.
Yeah, Fuest has 3 runes up right now. There is room for a response here, and we're thinking, so I do think that he probably has something that he wants to play in return.
It's looking like Annie is the target for switcheroo and the Irelia, which means that it would be then 10 might attacking in on 6, which would still be able to clear the Rek'Sai or the Annie. Like Johannes will trade at least one of them, but Dana will get the Conquer, and then maybe you hide another switcheroo. The problem is like you're going to have 2 runes up, and they're 2 red runes. So you know there's no rebuke. Johannes, you can honestly just let this go, equip the Swifties to Vex, attack over. That's probably game, because any spell that Dana tries to play is going to cost 1 more. I think hidden switcheroo is like the only thing that Dana could have that would stop Johannes' next push. And what a position for Johannes. I gotta say, this game started with Dana already just battlefields going first with Arena's Greatest and Zon Warrens from Johannes in a good spot. Johannes misses the Arena's Greatest trigger to score the point. Judges rule that he can't keep it he can't reverse that and get the point back because the turn had already passed. And then Johannes fights his way tooth and nail back, and it looks like a Defiant Dance is coming down.
Oh, and that is going to be the victory for Mr. Fuest.
Yeah, that's a tough spot for the Annie to be in, and it shows why the Irelia matchup is so strong. Johannes, deep sigh of relief, coming back from a disastrous start to that Game 3. I would love to get his thoughts on that during the interview. I know it's a tough thing for a player in the moment. It's a lot of pressure, but again, that's the human element. That's why we watch these games, is to see the best play it, and also to see that people make mistakes too, like it happens. And those types of moments, you have to be able to stay in the game, bounce back, and Johannes did just that.
Absolutely. And I mean, I said it during the little slip up that happened there. It's so crucial that he doesn't let that get a hold of him, mess up the mental. And he stayed in it. He stayed in it fully, and he came out victorious. So mental wins games sometimes, y'all.
I will say, massive credit to Dana. Coming in, very young, new generation. This kid's 15 years old.
Yeah.
Cosplaying Annie, playing the Annie deck, having fun up on stage, hopefully having fun up on stage at least. So props to Dana. Also played a very good game of Riftbound. I again, watching it, I think there was like maybe one moment that I was like, there's maybe something I would have done different. But again, that doesn't necessarily mean that it was the right call on my end. Like, I still think Dana played an incredibly good game and really pushed the Irelia to the limit in a vastly Irelia favored matchup. 59% is a statistical, like, that's notable. That's a notable win rate for Irelia.
Absolutely. She played a very technical game, aggressive, patient when she needed to. We just knew that she knew that matchup.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate that the win was not secured, but I think she should still walk away proud of how she played.
And 100%. Still X2 still has a good chance to make day 2. We have a couple more rounds after this. X2s will make day 2 still. So you still get a better shot at prizing. You know, you can keep your tournament run going. But Johannes, again, showing that why I think Irelia is also one of the decks on everyone's radar. Like, it's Draven, it's Irelia. Those are by far the most 2 represented here in Atlanta. And it's for states like that. Like, you're down, 4 points at one point in that game, was still able to fight back. Like, Irelia can do crazy stuff.
Absolutely. She can get super duper mighty, super duper tanky. But I feel like Irelia wasn't the only star of that show. We saw a lot of Vex.
Yes.
Vex came through a lot, making those spells more expensive, making them cheaper for the Irelia player as well.
Yeah, making them cheaper was about, like, I'd say 30% of it. The 70% was making the Annie spells more expensive. Like, Rebuke for 3 and Recycle 3 is really painful, let alone the deflect cost if Irelia is in combat too. And even just the deflect cost in general, I think is partly why Irelia is so good right now. Because Rebuke, we saw, was the most present card in every deck list here in Atlanta. Having your ace unit with deflect so that you're pretty much bouncing around, and even if it goes back to hand, you can play it and get it back on the board. It's very impactful, and we saw Dana struggling with the runes as the game went on, because down to 2 runes on like that 6th, 7th turn. I said 6th, 7th. It doesn't count. I added the at the end.
Okay, I'm gonna let you have it. You said it literally 3 times during that match. I really do think he's baiting me, guys. You are baiting me.
It was an accurate representation of the game. Okay?
What is it called? Like, if it's not rage baiting, it's 6-7 baiting. You're 6,
No,
6,
no,
7.
we're not coining that.
We're not coining that.
No,
Okay.
no.
Well, you said it 3 times during one match. That's kind of
And
that's
you
kind of
only
crazy.
did it once.
And I only did it once.
That's gross.
Because I don't want to do it every time. They don't
Yeah.
be expected.
Gets
You know what I'm
way too old.
saying?
Gets
So,
way too old.
but I do also want to highlight. We talked a lot about the Tide Turner being a big card for that past game. But we also saw Switcheroo was also very,
Switcher
very
was crazy.
big. Yeah.
Love that card. And I'm hearing that we actually have the interview ready. So I want to hear from the player himself, Johannes, what it was like playing against that matchup.
6-7.
Thanks so much, guys. I'm here joined by the winner of that nail-biter of a match, Johannesfuest. Congratulations on winning that match. You're still remaining X&1 moving into the tournament. I saw that sigh of relief from you after you won with that Defiant dance. How do you feel right now?
Relief, more than anything. Yeah, I obviously messed up the arena's greatest triggers, which was unfortunate. Yeah, it's my first big tournament, so obviously, you know, nerves are bad. But it's been a ton of fun.
You say the nerves are bad, but you're doing such a great job. You're piloting one of the decks that a lot of people have their eyes on, but you have some really unique spice here in your list that I specifically want to talk about your battlefields, man. Every time I saw a battlefield come down for you, you really had high priority on having and finding the right cards that you could, not necessarily 100% having to rely on things like the Stellarcorn Herder. It meant any unit you could get on. You know, you had the Sunken Temple, right? You had the Ravenbloom Conservatory, and then the Zon Warrens coming out on the 3rd game. I'll be honest, I was a little terrified for you. When I saw the arena's greatest Zon Warrens flipped over, if I was Annie there, sitting in that moment, I go, whoa, I play those. But you really value that sort of filter ability or draw power, and it's really showing success. So speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I went for the Zone Warrens game 3 because I wanted to deny Annie the Zone Warrens if possible. And then after losing the first game, I obviously know that I can't give her the Ravenbloom Conservatory, so I got to go for the Zone Warrens going second, which you never want to do, but it is what it is. Yeah, I think card draw is huge for the deck. I think I'm right in saying that I didn't really abuse the Stellarcorn in the entire match, which is unfortunate. That makes things harder. And yeah, at that point, I think the Vexes were incredibly important. They allow you to kind of have card economy when you're low on cards. And yeah, that's what it essentially wanted for me in the end, despite, you know, being up against it.
I'm just saying, I also have an Irelia deck, and I've never really considered putting Ravenbloom in, but as soon as you defended and you flipped a Rebuke over at the top, I believe it was game 2, I was like, I'm sold. Yeah. I'm convinced. I'm going to put that in my deck now. So
yeah, especially in combination with Triple Charm, it's a battlefield that can get you a lot of value and can swing a match.
And Charm has had a lot of value. I know a lot of people are talking about how important it was last week in Lille, but you're on your way to climb yourself into a day 2 already. I'm not going to jinx it, of course.
We'll see.
Still X&1 on Irelia, so congratulations on your match win. But there was some insight there from Johannesfuest. We're going to pitch it back to y'all.